Good morning, I'm Ross McWilliam, and we had a live webinar last night talking about emotional well-being tips for children. Children, from the age of 6 to 12, where they're approaching, key stage 2, and they're going perhaps into key stage 3 at secondary school, a big age range. But I'm going to give you some tips with a bit of detail as well. Okay, just going to share on screen with you a little presentation which I'm going to upload to YouTube afterwards. So you can have all this afterwards on YouTube. Just go to Ross McWilliam and YouTube channel there, which you'll find, hopefully. Right, so let's get this started. So, okay. So, top 5 emotional well-being tips. Each one's different, but there's contrast and overlap in each one, as you probably would expect to be. But I've tried to differentiate the best I can. So the first one is talking and listening. Self-esteem, confidence and resilience is the second one. Mind fitness, people sometimes call this mental health, but mind fitness is a general term that kids can get their heads around better. Role modeling and failing forward. Okay, the relationship there between the failing forward and resilience in number 2, as is number 3, mind fitness, to number 2, emotional fitness. And the final one is measurement and feedback. Okay, plenty of practical ideas. And let's get started. That's where we don't want to be. And with any young person, be it at homeschooling or actually at school, we're just looking for changes all the time. Changes in general terms, if they're sicker, they're more than normal, or they're in school, what they call presenteeism, but they're not being involved as much. They're late, or they've got excuses, or they're disengaged, or they're really hyper and talking all the time. We're looking for changes. And life is about natural ups and downs. You're going to get there. What do you do? And, in this coronavirus at the moment, it's a great example of it being very frantic and erratic at times. And we can get stressed out. We can get lonely. We can get confused. And we can get sad. All natural emotions given the context of where we are in our lives. So the first one is a nice one that I want to talk about, literally, is basically talking and listening. And it's not about you know more than somebody else and you've got to tell them what they need to do to feel a certain way, to act a certain way, to get the results in life. It's not about that. It really is just, first of all, listening, okay, without judgment. Once we start putting judgment on it, it becomes a different game altogether, and you're potentially stopping somebody revealing something to you, especially young people. So non-judgmental, just to listen. We could get plenty of ums and ahs and get them involved. Is there a bit more, what they call talking stems? And yes, is there something else? Can you elaborate on that? These are sort of like stem words that help them to talk about things. If we can find some validation to agree with them on a certain point, that's very powerful. But you shouldn't agree for the sake of agreeing and validating something you know that's not going to help in the future. So let's talk about, when we're talking about this, talk about mental health or mental fitness as opposed to body fitness. So you've got your body fitness and you've got your mental or mental fitness or mind fitness, as I like to call it. Simply being aware of this, the change, and starting conversations. It might be conversations, talking and listening, but it could be some sort of drawing activity that starts the process of talking. And, if you sit opposite somebody, that can facilitate talking and listening, but sometimes walking around the garden, just sitting next to them, watching TV, having a conversation. And, you've got to model the behavior you want to see. So it's okay for you to show some vulnerability all the time, but should I say not all the time, because that isn't a behavior that wouldn't get us too far in life if we're always vulnerable. I think some vulnerability as an adult, especially in this pandemic, is a nice way to show the emotions that they're having. Okay, I think that's very powerful. And talk about what's on their mind. Is it the friendships, missing the friends from school, missing the teachers, missing the routines? And, conversation starters might be, you look a bit different today. What's happened? I notice you don't want to play football today. And those sort of questions. An interesting one is when we scale, on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel today? 1 being quite low and sad, 10 being very happy. Then do the scaling again. And you don't want to be scaling all the time, but it's a very useful reference you can do at certain parts of the day just to get a feel. And once they've given you a score, and another score later on. Can you explain it? Can we talk about why that score's changed? It's a great sort of platform to talk about. And the virus conversations, you know, it was on Zoe Ball, the radio, about don't catch the germs of other people. You know, that strikes a bit of fear. We should be talking about that viruses have always been in our society. This one's a different one. We've got to learn how to tackle it. And, you know, we've got to listen to the advice and be aware of our own health and health of other people. And we've come into these words now, like social distancing, listening to government advice, washing our hands in the right way. So it's how we adapt. And that's a very powerful concept, adaptation. And it's something we wrap around the virus rather than say, get away with people with germs. We can also talk in third-party stories. So rather than talking to my son or daughter about their particular issue, I could talk about Piglet, who has some issues, and Eeyore just sits with him sometimes and listens and talks. So if you're using third-party, it's a very powerful way to take the pressure or the emphasis or the focus of the child. And the same with comic strips there. The second one, self-esteem, confidence, and resilience. They're all linked together. They're the platform of how we believe in ourselves, self-esteem, our self-worth, confidence, not being scared to say, do, or think things, and resilience, being adaptable. And this starts with the identity and belonging and safety in the home, and identity and belonging and safety in the school, identity and belonging and safety with the friends and where they live. And this identity could be, you know, their own books, their own space in the house, their own space at school, the lockers, the bags, the room, and it's precious to them. And all these sort of things where you model that behavior and they've got the identity that reinforce it each day. It's something we take for granted, but a lot of the children I've worked with over the years have never had this. Pop your barriers or build them up. Sometimes I get a balloon like this one. I can write in all the qualities, the strengths I've got, and I keep it there for a day and look at all those strengths and remind them, the child, that all day long. Sometimes I can do the opposite. I can put what's stopping me today. What are my emotional barriers? I'm scared of what people might say. I think I'll get something wrong. Nobody wants to play with me. And then, you know, we can pop that and we can look at it. All those barriers have gone small once we pop them, okay, because we've become aware of it. And we can revisit that over the course of the day or the week to look at what happened to those barriers. Just some simple things that takes it from the talking to the doing. Another great example is the wall and the shield. The wall is we write down all the things they've achieved during the course of a week and watch them all build up. And the shield is the 6 best qualities they've got, their qualities or achievements they've got. Nothing to do with appearance, just qualities and achievements. 2 little great ones. One's instant and one's longitudinal. And what are you good at? Ask that question every day. What are you good at? It's a great question. Number 3, mind fitness. I love that picture there. Mind fitness. This comes about through opposite to the body, but related to it. Talking about some breathing techniques where we can slow it down and think. I do what's called a box breathing. We breathe in, hold, breathe out, and punch it down. There's lots of different breathing exercises out there, and I've got some on the website at the end. Just recognizing where they are, if they're getting frustrated all day long. That's a strength, this awareness, hence the balloons before. And other things with mind fitness, the mindfulness of blanking the mind out, using the hand and breathing through the hand and letting the mind go empty. So these are all tools. Again, I mentioned these at the end, where they can help this mind fitness develop. We breathe in through meditation, through writing things down, through recognizing the strengths and weaknesses. And one example of that mind fitness is the stress tank, where we can put all our stresses in there and we can talk through it. Again, it's on the children's website and we'll get you some more details about afterwards. But if you're interested, send me an email. The 4th one is role modeling or failing forward. Love this one. Believe in yourself, be you. 7 billion people in the world and you're the original. Don't be a copy. So what have you got that stands out? Believe in yourself. Are you Batman? Are you Superman? You know, are you Catwoman, Wonder Woman, Spider-Man? You know, getting to think and play in those ways, it's very powerful. I guess, you know, the kids at 11 and 12 won't play as much as the kids in 6 and 7, but I think it's a powerful bit. They're still role models at older ages. And fail forward. What great mistakes did you make today? How did you get closer to learning something today? How did you get closer to being a professional footballer? How do you get closer to being a teacher in the future? These are the powerful statements we need. Rather than to cover them up, we've got to expose them. And the fifth one, measurement and feedback, especially in teaching, but certainly in parenting. How do we measure something? I mentioned before about the scaling system of 1 to 10. How do you feel 1 being quite low, 10 being quite high, and coming back and getting another score and asking why that changed? I think that's a very powerful tool. But also in the books that I've got, the couple of books, we've got measurement tools built into it, 5 of them in this case, this series, where they've got measurement tools throughout. So you can measure their emotional confidence, their resilience, and the self-esteem regularly. And I've even give you, since you've got this far in the presentation, a free PDF if you email me, ross@rossmcwilliam.com, with the adult guide, which gives you loads of different ideas of how to improve your kids' emotional well-being. And on YouTube there are at least 20 videos of how to do mind fitness strategies to calm us down, to make us in the moment, to make us perform better in the future. So those 5 things nice and quickly. Talking and listening without being judgmental, depending on where you want to talk and where you want to listen, is very powerful. Always building up self-esteem, confidence and resilience. Different ways to do that. Mind fitness lines itself very closely to that. It's very powerful. The role modeling, who do they want to be? Are you modeling that role correctly? Are they learning to fail forward, learning from the mistakes? Always be mindful of measurement and feedback. Thanks for listening. If you want more, it's ross@rossmcwilliam.com. Thank you very much.